I was waiting you at breakfast.
You need an assist to switch cables, to show you
Please.
panels.
Please, yes.
Or to push the audience like now it's more like
Okay.
it's like
We can stand behind
the groupie, yeah.
The group. One, two, one, two. I'll do my best.
So we're really
Hey, who am I sitting there? Welcome to
I'll go down.
Hello, you come. Does that look good? I should this kind of extension situation. We want what do we want here now? Displays? microphone? Do I have a microphone? I'll have a microphone, that's fine. Just get a coffee. Color brightness. How do you take off the display settings? Display. No, not on this one. Oh, hi Olga, hi. Gisle, when do we start?
You can start now.
I'd like to have some coffee. Black coffee? Just to have a look live in case my voice gets dry. I have a slight cold, so you know, no kissing today. Yeah, let me just go on this one. I'll leave you with this for 1 second. So are we online now, Piksel? Are we online? Yeah. So hi. Good to see you in this presentation. Thanks for the invitation, Gisle. I'm very happy to be here. Oh. I'm very happy to be here in Bergen. Is this good in the image? Am I looking fine now? Oh, thank you. Thank you. I spent many years perfecting my hairstyle, the length of the hair. Yeah, so my name is Stahl Stenslie, and I'm the head of PNEK since August. PNEK is a 15-year-old organization here in Norway, production network for electronic art. And today I'd like to present to you basically the content of this and some of the purposes, and then we have a Q&A session for those who would like to ask or get more information on the network and what it does and what it can do for you. It's a state-funded organization funded by the Council for Cultural Affairs, Kulturrådet. It started out in the late 90s as a consequence of the apparent lack of or challenge posed by new media to the cultural and artistic sector. And then it was established around 2000 and has been through several phases. In this map you can see kind of an overview of the nodes and the friendly structures. We have currently more or less, no? I have a watch here. What's happened now? Oh, that was the, I think at the back of the presentation. There we go, yeah. Oh, I think I started with the last slide, so now we're back to the beginning. We have 10 nodes right now, spread around Norway, and this is basically our kind of mandate. PNEK is the overall network that tries to connect and coordinate the nodes and encourage working within electronic and interdisciplinary art. We support you guys, artists and networks, not just inside Norway but also outside. So for instance, Neural in Italy or Container in Zagreb are potential collaborators. And we're very happy to see you here today. I know these people. I don't know all of you guys, but I'm happy to see you as well. Yeah, so we have this sort of mandate of building both, or covering the ground both outside and inside Norway. Yeah, we provide, or we're basically an organization trying to coordinate and promote work with electronic experimental art, and this is one of the big debates. Where is the electronic art today when we have we're really in the post as it's called now recently, post-digital condition, when all the arts kind of include in a natural manner digital media and electronic tools. Why do we insist on electronic art still? Well, I see it as the haven for experimental thinking, and which is not covered by the sort of more traditional-based art fields. We support travels, artists that would like to go to special events, that would like to do special projects. We support them with a slight contribution. The main funding must come from elsewhere. Some of our projects is here the Dark Ecology project, together with Sonic Acts in Holland, dealing with the northern regions. We're going there for a tour next week, by the way. Dark Ecology, check it out. Timothy Morton and Sonic Acts. We also do field recording trips like Sonic Mambolela in South Africa, and we send a student there or an artist there every year. We have summer sessions with V2 in Rotterdam every summer. If you or someone else are passing by Oslo, or artists would like to explore Oslo, we have an apartment in Oslo. That's our main base. So if you like to stay there for a week or two, it's possible to get that flat for free. So it's a resource to build networks and invite people, which is a kind of unique opportunity. We have a small annual budget of 120,000 euro to cover all this networking, travel support, etc. It's not a rich network, but the richness or the economy in PNEK is the way we connect with other people and how we can coordinate activities. So in that sense, it's potentially, of course, much more than that. Yep, this is again our notes. There's been various developments over the years, but these are our main notes, and I will now walk through them. Please stop me at any time if you have questions or would like me to explicate something. This is the node overview. On that side, you now see the video art archive, which is actually not a node, but is one of the activities we are now, or have been spending 3 years doing. On my predecessor, P. Plato, built that up. The video archive responds to, or actually a 20-year project now that's been through several phases. As one answer to the question, how do we, track the media art histories? How do we, collect, and present, and disseminate what we've been doing for the past 40, 50 years inside the electronic art field? Tapes is actually videotapes is an obvious way to start to conserve the history of the past. And the video art archive has been trying to build up all the collect all of the video art tapes in Norway up to now and digitalize them. They're not doing the best of the best, because what's the best of video art? What we now think of as being best is most likely redundant tomorrow or changed. So this is the archive tool. Video archive is an approach to conserving the fleeting, the temporary, all those interactive installations of the 90s, 2000, the web art perhaps even, that is not yet archived or conserved or presented in a proper manner. For those of you who would like to go to Vienna, we have Oliver Grau on the 4th of December dealing with, they have a huge conference there on that issue, how to conserve this field. So yeah, that's basically that, and there's also a tool developed for this one. If you would like to know more about that, I'll give you more afterwards. Atle Nord is one of the founding nodes. I don't know. I checked yesterday. I haven't developed it, and I got my login first yesterday. You have to log in right now, mainly due to the initial phase. This started, as I said, 20 years ago, this archive. This model here, that Per has been building up, has taken 3 years. And it did start from scratch. Before we had other archival approaches, I gave away my tapes back in the early 2000s to Atelier Nord. Then they had the mandate to make an archive. The National Museum doesn't want to deal with this issue. The National Library feels it's outside the mandate. Although the National Library in Norway by the end of this year, the National Library in Norway will have digitalized everything that's been published in Norway up to year 2000. Everything. They're the Google of Scandinavia or Northern Europe. In that sense, they have taken that approach, like the video archive. We don't digitalize, Ibsen and the big Scandinavian writers. We do everything, even down to your local kind of political party's flyer. So they have a huge production facility to digitalize everything. The same thing happens here. Everything of video art should be published here. I think so far there's a few hundred tapes. And of my 10 video works, I guess it's like 8 inside this library, but I couldn't access them yesterday. Of reasons, I don't know. But we're working on that. I'll be happy to give you a brief view of it afterwards. And it's kind of, it's really interesting. I found some stuff yesterday of myself that I didn't know existed. So you have, it has an interesting, what you did 10 years ago, who cares today? But then it's like, wow, it actually happened. So that memory is interesting somehow. Any other questions for that one? Do you want to? No? No. But again, the question is, how do we do this? How do you archive the fleeting temporary artworks? What's a good strategy? And how do we create that or build that in an accessible manner? I really want this to be open to anyone, open access to anyone. As far as I understood with my predecessor, Per, it's an issue of kind of artist rights. But I'm unsure how to go beyond that one. For those of you who don't know that, in Scandinavia or in Norway in particular, we're very concerned with artists' income. We don't have an art market, or an art market that can pay for pay most artists' activities. We do have what we call the 5% fund. If you sell an artwork in Norway, a painting, graphic, or even a cartoon, 5% of the sales price is added to the price. So if your work costs €100, you pay €105, and the €5 goes to the artist fund. And once a year, it's redistributed according to applications. This is actually a pretty heavy fund every year. And the same goes with sort of photos and use of artistic material. We have what we call Bono, which are continuously monitoring the use of artists' works in the public press. So if you use some of my works, actually I'm not a member, but if I was a member and you would print one of my images, you would have to pay them. And then they would pay me afterwards. This is a very sort of fight for the artist's rights, you could say. This is so ethically we're very concerned about the artist's rights, and I think that stops this archive from being like Google or YouTube for artists. But we're working on that. Atelier Nord is one of the oldest nodes, started as a graphical workshop back in the, I think, late 80s, and then merged into video, and now it's the largest node. No, that's wrong. It's one of the 2 largest nodes in Oslo. They have a space called Anx, not Anxiety, but sort of an annex. It's a pretty nice exhibition space in Oslo. Our office is right above, and Olga and Sunshine will present there on Tuesday. So if you're in Oslo on Tuesday, we'll do a presentation of their extravagant bodies, extravagant age exhibition. So currently we are at Grünerløkka, this gentrified part of the city, and Atle Nord have this show space there, and they focus again on what they call unstable media. I'll just flip through these notes, and you can stop me and ask about the conditions or whatever. Utopia is a video gallery with a liquid presence. They do more or less shows where they can do it in Oslo. They had a street art gallery, and they had showrooms. Currently they're more of a sort of, again, dynamic node presenting stuff elsewhere. Farad Kalantari is heading Utopia. So they do different twists on it, both covering the art, media art histories, and dealing with some international issues. Farad is from originally from Iran, so you have a sort of multicultural attitude as well, or focus. BIK is this the other node here in Bergen, or one of the three nodes in Bergen. Bergen Electronic or Center for Electronic Arts. Like Atle Nord, they have this multidisciplinary approach to art, and Piksel is one of as a second node here. I'll come back to that one. So you have this overlapping focus on electronic art, but I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, Gisle, but you're doing the you're doing the project-based, exhibition-based output, and they're more like the resource for developing individual works. So this kind of covers similar fields, yet have different sort of approaches. Yeah, so you have the main activities, what they're doing, and how they're approaching the field as a resource center. This is back to Oslo again. Harald is also here. Dans for voksne, dance for adults. It's a very experimental, cool, small node of PNEK. They do very strange stuff now into sound for deaf. That's a recent work. I believe you and Harald will start the session tonight, Gisle. At 9? Yeah. Today. So today you will meet Harald, who heads Dans for voksne, dance for adults. So they're pretty cool and wild and active node. Hege Tapio has also been here. I haven't seen her today, but she runs the IO lab in Stavanger, and they focus on the bioarts, doing different projects. And they also have a biennial called the Article, where they deal with various bioart approaches. We'll have to say that bioart is a very limited field in Norway. If you want to talk about artistic production in Norway, in the electronic experimental field, it's not found in the academic sector. It's found in the nodes. So there's little support for experimental thinking in our field, and bioarts in particular, I would say. So Hege is the one who have so far been focusing on over years on the development of biotech. But Stavanger is a very small city, and it's not like an artistic environment or a larger group of people working with that. Although biotech-wise, Norwegians we had since a year worked on salmon. Salmon is a big bio resource here, so we do kind of lots of experimentals on salmon. They also made a live salmon robot by implanting electrodes to the brain, so you can actually have they made a salmon submarine kind of thing here. So you have biotech on a different scientific level. Yep. So here's the program for article. Check it out. Kunsthall Grenland. If you want to go south in Norway, you can go to this Porsgrunn, an old industrial city, and they have different sort of, or a smaller approach to this field, or a more step-by-step approach. Nearly Human is an exhibition that was just closed. Really nice exhibition on robots, created by Jasja Reichert, who made the legendary robot exhibition in London in 1968, which name I have now forgotten. But she has been a long-term robotic researcher. Do you know the? Yes. Thank you, Alessandro. Cybernetic serendipity. Very interesting. And she's still doing approaching this field. When I was there for the opening here in September, I talked to her, and she was very, very into robotics, but very skeptical about electronics. But they showed some beautiful electromechanical robots that were doing various stuff. Beautiful automaton-like exhibitions or approaches. And here we are in this building, the sound gallery. It's housed right here, right? Sound gallery, Lead Galleria, in this building. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is a space dedicated to exploring the sonic medium. So here we are. There's also a node. I'm sure you can tell more about that, Gisle. Yeah, also with programs and ongoing shows. Then we got NodeTime in Oslo. This is a node I know the best because I worked with them a lot. Norwegian Network for Technology and Music. They are typically of many, I guess I'm sure you guys know this, of activities in our field between science and arts. We hover between science and arts. And NodeTime, they have a scientific approach dealing with, writing papers for conferences. NIME is one, of course, the big sort of names and conferences, gatherings in that field that NodeTime belong to. And also, we support artistic productions everywhere and in a long scale or wide scale of productions. So they have really nice studios, and if you would like to do sound-based works from ambisonics to interactive installations, they support that work, and they provide a small production budget. If you come with a little budget, they will match your budget. If the artistic goals are found interesting, they're pretty active and pretty in the field. They have about 6 employees now, but the whole lab, I think about 20 people works inside their offices. Yeah, and also making a 3D studio, an Ambic Sonic studio, which is now ready. And we collaborate with various international partners. Piksel, well, Gisle, you know Piksel now. I won't say much about Piksel, but I'm very, very happy to have Piksel in the network. And I think this is an excellent opportunity to meet and focus on the DIY open hardware and art. That's sort of very, very going down into the nitty-gritty, dark corners of this field. So I really enjoyed these days here, and I'm looking forward to tonight as well to continue that exploration. I think it's very important to have these areas covered like Piksel does, to provide that alternative look on arts and culture. But this is something Gisle can say more about, I guess. So I'll go to the next one. TEX Metamorph is the biennial in Trondheim Electronic Art Center, and they have next year their biennial focusing on what's the theme again? Star art. Interstellar is their sort of lead sentence. Mankind was born on Earth, but never meant to die here. So they focus on space and art in 2016. They open on the 10th of March, as far as I know. It's a 2-month long festival in collaboration with V2 in Rotterdam. This is one of our smaller nodes. It's called The View, Utsikten, The View Art Center, down south in Norway. And they have more primarily a video-based focus, doing video works, light-based installations inside this little and beautiful city. And of course, then we have all of our friendly nodes, those who work in Norway, either hosting events or collaborating with us, or feeling kind of associated with PNEK, the electronic arts scene. So this is a list. What is seen so far is from our folder, which you'll find online at pnek.org, and you can look at these Norwegian resources. So again, if you have questions or want to have specific contact, either go directly to these ones or talk to me or Gisle for more specific details or contact persons. Yeah. So if you want to note down something or question me, I'm hereby open for visionary statements or nitty-gritty, questions about whatever. Yes, please.
No, just for me, just to say congratulations for having this network, because it's Norway is not a super big country and has many nodes, many places, and it's very interesting.
Thanks for saying that, because once you talk about that node, we had Boris de Bakkere from V2 here a week ago, or in Oslo, and we're talking about the electronic art field, and also that concerns Piksel as well. We represent an alternative action-based approach to the arts, I would say, using technology as one of the materials. But in why I'm in the field is because I feel at home in this thinking environment. It provides an alternative thinking, which is not as represented in the established sector. And Boris last week, he came with this really nice allegory that electronic art is set apart from the art scene, a bit like arts and crafts are. And this, it's like, I don't think it should be a protected zone, but we need to kind of build a networks for this.
Probably give a different treatment in all the things, how to develop the works, or what are the needs, that are different to normal art, let's say, or established art.
Yeah, also to challenge I would say the established field. In a way, why is it so little, representation of that field? I think it's a typical, fight of the giants. You protect your knowledges. We develop cultural fields which are mutually exclusive, and that's the reason why we are not in that sort of inside the collector's business, perhaps. It's a complex issue, but if you go to the Luhmannesque understanding of economies, we have circles of knowledge developments and epistemological focuses that are at least exclude the experimental dimension, which is so dominant, I would say, in Piksel and other PNEK nodes. And that, I think, is a worthwhile, one of the reasons why PNEK is an interesting node. I mean, I haven't talked about specific projects here. It's more about the general framework, and that's of course also the topic for PNEK. Building connections that enable individual projects. Yes, but you guys, Container, you have a kind of similar. You're Zagreb-based, so you're, I guess, a friendly node of ours outside that do lots of. You have already. You're here. You will never leave now.
No, but beyond joking, there's any thought about having kind of external friendly nodes, so to say, which are not part of the whole organization scope and structure, but are just like partner nodes, so to say.
That's also the good question. Our mandate is to keep Norway, or PNEK, or in my position I should keep nodes, coordinate the nodes, and then be sort of the hub for the external collaborations. But the budget is too small to have like a real sort of but we're like a portal to Norway, and a portal afterwards should function like that. So we don't have. I mean, I work a lot with V2 right now. We have the summer sessions. We have the Sonic Mambolela in South Africa, which we might discontinue next year because of other reasons. But we do have Sonic Acts as well. So you could say those are two very active collaborations we do have. We spend 10% of our annual budget right now on those collaborations. So if there's concrete collaborations, we do support that. Also, we support. I've forgotten the festival, but we're now in Italy. We're now funding the travel for in a regional artist to go to one of the festivals in Italy, for instance. So Transmediale now. If you go to Transmediale in February, we'll do a PNEK presentation there, together with Sonic Acts and the Dark Ecology tour. So these things are, we would very much like to co-sponsor and co-arrange events abroad, both financially and practically. But financially, we are tiny. It's more in the network you find resources. If you look, although it's a small, there is no education for experimental art in Norway. All academies focus on traditional arts. It's like there's no education there's no higher education approaching electronic, interactive, digital tools. It's all based on old craft techniques. Painting is it's still an advanced technology here. So it's they got really nice academies, but they are in the traditional field, you could say. Maybe they will argue differently, but I had an education focused on art and technology in Denmark, and that's way more progressive in that sense. Yeah.
No, just one humble suggestion. I know only about very few programs that would relate to art and technology normally. Probably you know that. But maybe giving of networks of support and also trying to establish a small networks among teachers and professors that would support it within the academies in collaboration with the nodes. Would also help to permeate the educational sector, which is always quite strategical in every country.
It is. It's a gatekeeper. They are gatekeepers. And we have had academies in Norway, in Oslo, here in Bergen, and Trondheim, which is in this blue node in the middle here, and up here in Tromsø. This is the four academies in Norway. And if you want to talk about education, I met the headmaster of the academy in Tromsø a couple of weeks ago, and I talked to her, about what they're doing in this field, from experimental wild sound exhibitions to screen designs or even game development as art. And she said, no, our students, they focus on now more and more the older craft-based techniques. It's back to art and crafts. And as I told her, of course, because you never ever even had one competent teacher in the area. Never. I mean, you have a few people here in Trondheim. They had a different approach, but in Tromsø they never focused on even I doubt they even have computers in their education. Sorry, I mean they're savvy in networking with Google and using Google and browsing and those tools, but they don't use it for any explorative activities. If students do, they do it because they do it themselves, which I like that anarchistic approach. But I do think the reason for that we are still kept like arts and crafts aside from the mainstream is that we is this fight for the hegemony. But yeah, so we will try pushing into the academic sector. But yeah, it's like now I'm starting to rant about this, but the academic sector is the most conservative sector ever, everywhere, which is why it's beautiful to be a small node or nodes that can be agile, as long as the funding is there. The question again is of course impact. How do we move society, and how do we show what we're doing? I know and it is like Gisle, I really enjoy like last night and the night before. You have so, I won't say nerdy, but specialized hardcore expressions being put forward. But how do you bring that into Bergen, into the public, which is a question for the long-term financing? How do we make this visible or bring those challenges outside the gallery space? That's also a question for PNEK. How we actually, I just started this work. How do we actually open up to represent this alternative thinking?
Yeah, but this is what I think is what you say before, that the schools they are not really supporting somehow this kind of thing. Like for example, Piksel, because it's open hardware software. For example, this that I believe is a very strong point, very nice. Suddenly, like the academic, they look at you like you are like the small brother, something like that. No, like no, we are the Adobe guys, no? And you are the I don't know, like the small brother, something like that. No? So it's not I don't know. I mean, it's difficult. I mean, the people, the artists, the students from the art academy, for example, I think they don't see the point of Piksel.
Yeah.
And this is because they never heard. They are at the art academy, and they didn't heard about. So they think it may not be a possibility, a real possibility of development on this field, which is exactly the opposite, I would say. No? This is where, from my point of view, this is where actually the cutting edge and the most innovative artworks are happening.
Yeah, I mean, as I said last night, I experienced Piksel, the way people gather around things as a living academy, It's a very much, this alternative lived academy, practice-based approach. And that I think is a very important function of Piksel too. So that's I think, it's always good to have those autonomous zones around. Yet it's, how do you get this into a more established, I mean, it's a potentiality out there to I mean,
historically, it has worked always, quite often like that the academy is the conservative part, the official part under very strong rules, and then you have a lot of different independent institutions dialogue that can be established. And they have different roles. And if at some point there's a mutual acknowledgement and recognition, then it works quite well.
Yeah.
Because they keep their own role of that their whole system, and the other institutions are feeding the needs that they can't feed somehow.
It's interesting in terms of, I mentioned McLuhan, not Luhmann, but Luhmann, the German sociologist. I know his theory of knowledge circles that are never actually compatible. They might touch each other but never overlap, and that's why you have this continuous fight for your own heuristic domains. But also the unspoken laws of the cultural sector. The video archive got €1 million to build up this archive over 3 years, which is pretty good financing, I have to say. And then now, now it's sort of the 3-year phase is done. But yesterday we talked about this in our board meeting, and what happens now? No one knows. No one knows. But then one of the senior artists here in Bergen said, "But that's the name of the game. You all know, or well, not he know you. You get always 3 years funding, then nothing, and when you get nothing, that's when you have to prove your worth and apply for more funding. And if you can sort of live through that 4th year, you will be able to get more money. And no one is, we've been like looking for how to develop this further, because no one takes upon that challenge of collecting material. And I think he's right. I think that's the way when you think about other organizations, to be small and to fight for existence is a necessary step towards a more established dimension. But I mean, I think I really enjoy the fact that Piksel is on the side. I think we should have that alternative, non-established approach. If you get Piksel established, I don't know Gisli, but I think it won't be Piksel. So it's sort of we need that alternative fringe. But my concern is to keep, of course, that fringe alive in economic and practical terms. Yes, so thanks for that comment. Yes, you go. Yes! Hooray! I made it! Any other questions? Thanks for your patience, guys. I know you did it for me. It's not bad having 200 people in the audience. That's a comment for the online. Yes. Now it's, of course, free drinks downstairs.
Yeah, we were supposed to have 2 more presentations, but there seems to be some miscommunication. One was from Colombia, should be online, but they didn't show up. So I think we just take a break. There's some people are going on a boat trip, and there's lunch at 1 at 1880, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. And then there's a workshop here starting at 2 about the R language.
Okay.
It's presentation and workshop.
Cool. Okay. Thank you.
And all the workshops are everywhere in Wix. It will be, I think,